Welcome to the deep dive. So imagine for a moment, a world not actually that long ago where getting information wasn't just a click away like it is now.
Right.
Instead, information was, well, it was tightly guarded, scarce, and often, frankly, just wrong or biased by the few powerful people controlling it.
It really puts things into perspective.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes you appreciate today a bit more.
It truly does. And what's fascinating, I think, is how the printing press back then and things like the internet and AI today, they completely flipped that script. Decentralized control.
Flip the script, yeah. Leading to this explosion of knowledge.
But also these new complexities, right? Things we're still wrestling with.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. These huge changes in how information gets made, how it spreads, how we all consume it. We're looking at two really key moments: the invention of the printing press and the rise of artificial intelligence.
And showing how they're maybe more connected than you'd think.
Yeah. Our mission here is to unpack how these tech revolutions have, on one hand, boosted human understanding like crazy.
And on the other, introduced really big challenges, especially, the spread of misinformation, disinformation.
And what all this means for you trying to be an informed person in, well, this chaos sometimes.
A very dynamic landscape, let's say.
Okay, so let's rewind. Way back, before Gutenberg, before books were common, definitely before the internet, knowledge was, well, a luxury item.
Absolutely. Most people just relied on authority figures, religious leaders, local lords. That was your source.
And getting your hands on an actual text, like the Bible.
Forget about it. For most people, copies were incredibly rare. They had to be handwritten by scribes, painstakingly.
Which made them super expensive.
Super expensive,
Yeah.
exactly. And limited. Scholars literally had to travel, sometimes for weeks, just to consult different texts.
So you basically just had to trust what you were told. Verifying anything yourself. Almost impossible.
Practically impossible. And these handwritten copies, they were full of mistakes. Errors just piled up as one scribe copied another's work. Information moved slowly and imperfectly.
Humanity was kind of stuck, information-wise, waiting for something.
And then it happened around 1440, Johannes Gutenberg.
The movable type printing press.
Right. Now, there were earlier efforts in Asia, like wood blocks in China, but Gutenberg's specific mechanism, using that screw press idea, that was the game changer for mass production.
And here's the wild part, thinking about speed. He printed the Gutenberg Bible, right? About 200 copies.
Yes, the Latin Bible.
Took him 3 years, which sounds slow to us, but back then.
It was miraculous. Absolutely revolutionary speed. It completely reset what people thought was possible for spreading ideas.
So suddenly information gets cheaper, faster, more accurate.
Dramatically more accessible, yes. Cheaper, faster production, and way fewer errors than hand copying. It just changed the whole landscape of knowledge.
That sounds like a massive shift in power.
Yeah.
Did the old guard, the people who used just to control information, did they just roll over?
Oh, definitely not. There was resistance. The established powers, particularly the church, they saw their monopoly slipping away.
So they tried censorship, things like that.
They tried, absolutely. But the sheer volume of printing, the speed, it was incredibly hard to contain. It was like trying to hold back a flood.
So the genie was out of the bottle.
Pretty much. Information was moving from the elites out to, well, more ordinary people. And it created this space where you could question what you were told. You could think for yourself.
A marketplace for ideas, almost.
A marketplace for knowledge, exactly. Common people could actually acquire books. And this timing, it lined up perfectly with the Renaissance.
Right, all these new ideas swirling around.
So printing just fanned those flames, spread discoveries, artistic styles, philosophical arguments.
And then there's Martin Luther.
Ah, yes. A perfect example of leveraging the technology. He called printing the ultimate gift of God and the greatest one. His arguments against the church, the 95 Theses. Nailed to a church door, sure, but printers replicated them within weeks.
Weeks. Across Europe.
Across Europe, translated into different languages. It had a profound impact on Christianity, helped spark the Reformation.
So the printing press wasn't just about books. It was about opening people's eyes, challenging the status quo.
Totally. It helped fuel the Enlightenment. People became eager for knowledge, kind of amazed at their own previous sort of blindness,
And you mentioned the Bible earlier. Mass producing it must have changed faith, too.
Immensely. It fostered a more personal faith. People could read it themselves, interpret it themselves, and not just rely on the priest's interpretation.
Led to more literacy, too, I imagine.
Definitely. A huge driver for literacy worldwide. Suddenly there's a powerful reason for everyone to learn to read. It enabled this idea of a priesthood of all believers.
Okay, so fast forward. Centuries later, we get the internet.
The next earthquake, yeah. And you see these echoes, right? Just like print replaced hand copying, the internet offered a new way to produce and distribute, well, everything creative and intellectual.
But the early internet, wasn't it still kind of niche? Like late 90s AOL?
Yeah.
You needed some tech skills, right? HTML and stuff.
You did. There were still barriers.
Yeah.
But then came blogging platforms.
The Gutenberg moment of the internet.
Kind of, yeah. Blogger, LiveJournal, WordPress, Medium later on. Suddenly anyone could publish online. No coding needed. It was truly democratizing.
And the speed difference compared to print. It's just mind-boggling.
Instantaneous global access. You ask your smart speaker something, boom, you get an answer.
And the feedback loop. Authors and readers can interact almost in real time, updating information constantly. Print was so static in comparison.
Well, right, print had a very slow feedback loop. Letters to the editor, maybe a revised edition years later. The net is dynamic.
It connects people across borders, time zones, like those old print shops were hubs, but now the hub is global and in your pocket.
Exactly. Those print shops drew scholars together physically. Now that conversation, that intellectual ferment, it's happening online everywhere all the time.
How about science? Did it speed things up there too?
Oh, massively. Think about sharing data, results, preprints. There was this example with cold fusion research, a controversial claim.
Right. I remember something about that.
In the old days, it might have taken years of conferences and journal publications to sort out online. The scientific community basically debated and debunked it in a matter of months.
Wow. Faster discovery, faster correction.
And just like print-empowered reformers, the net empowers citizens. Citizen reporters, online debates about censorship pressuring governments.
It's like a grassroots media channel.
A poor man's mass media, as some called it early on, controlled by the users, not just the media conglomerates or elites.
So the parallels are strong. Decentralization, empowerment, faster knowledge sharing. But also, maybe the darker side. Does AI fit into this pattern?
It absolutely does, but it adds layers of complexity. We talk about the infodemic now, right?
Yeah, that term really took off during the pandemic.
It did. It's this flood of information, some good, some bad, some deliberately misleading, spreading incredibly fast, especially on social media.
And we should probably clarify misinformation versus disinformation.
Good point. Misinformation is false stuff shared, but maybe innocently, without intent to harm. Disinformation, that's deliberate, created to deceive, to manipulate.
And AI pours gasoline on that fire.
Hugely. AI tools make creating fake images, fake articles, fake videos, deep fakes easier and more convincing than ever before.
Scary stuff.
It is. Malicious actors can pump out propaganda on an industrial scale, influencing elections, inflaming conflicts. There was a report, I think, from NewsGuard showing a 10-fold increase in AI-generated fake news sites just in 2023.
A 10-fold increase. Wow. So it sounds like while the printing press sort of opened up the world's eyes, AI might be making it harder to know what we're even looking at.
That's a really good way to put it. The consequences are serious. Eroding trust in institutions, polarizing society, messing with public health, undermining democracy.
The World Economic Forum called AI-driven disinformation the biggest short-term global threat.
They did. And it's not just about malicious use. There are inherent issues within AI itself.
Like bias.
Exactly. AI models learn from data created by humans. So guess what? They learn our biases too.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Sort of. Biases can creep in from the data we choose, how it's labeled, the algorithms themselves, even how we interact with the AI. They're like mirrors.
Mirrors of society's conversation, not truth tellers.
Precisely. They don't have their own moral compass or fact checker built in, not inherently.
Can you give an example of that bias in action?
Sure. There was an AI recruiting tool trained on past hiring data. It ended up discriminating against female candidates because historically the company had hired more men. For image generators that create stereotypical or overly sexualized images of women, the bias is baked into the data they learned from.
And this black box problem makes it worse, right? We don't always know how the AI reached a decision.
That's a major hurdle, especially with complex deep learning models. It's hard to peer inside and see the reasoning, which makes it tough to spot bias, fix it, or even hold anyone accountable.
So these bias systems can just perpetuate inequality. Keeps showing us skewed versions of reality.
They can, unfortunately. Perpetuating stereotypes, damaging trust, maintaining unfair systems. It's a huge challenge, legally and ethically, too.
Okay, it sounds pretty daunting. How do we fight back? What are the strategies for creating a more informed, less manipulated future?
Well, one big area is ethical frameworks. We need clear principles for developing and deploying AI, especially when it touches information.
Like what kind of principles?
Things like fairness, avoiding discrimination, transparency, trying to make AI decision-making understandable, trustworthiness, making systems reliable, accountability, knowing who's responsible, privacy, empathy. These are key.
And you mentioned transparency being foundational, especially about the training data.
Absolutely critical. If developers release their data sets, or at least are open about them, it builds trust. It lets independent researchers check for bias, helps everyone understand the limitations.
So ethics by design, building it in from the start.
That's the goal, not just an afterthought. And it probably needs external regulation too, not just self-policing.
Okay, so ethics are one part. What about technical fixes? Content moderation.
That's happening. Companies like OpenAI have systems to try and block harmful outputs. But it's like you said earlier, it's a bit of a digital whack-a-mole, an arms race. People find ways around the safeguards.
Like that impersonation tactic you mentioned, getting AI to pretend to be a bad guy to generate bad stuff.
Exactly, prompting it to act like doctor fake or something to get around safety filters and generate, say, convincing anti-vaccine nonsense. It's a serious loophole.
So technical fixes are tricky. What else? Fact-checking?
People are trying AI-driven fact-checking tools, but the results are mixed. Sometimes human fact-checkers are still better. And sometimes, weirdly, AI fact-checks can make people trust accurate news less.
Huh. That's counterintuitive.
It is. There are also things like identity verification for creators, though that has downsides for anonymity, and user reporting systems like community notes on X, trying to add context crowdsourced from users.
It sounds like there's no single magic bullet, technically.
Not yet, anyway. And what's interesting is even though AI can make disinformation more sophisticated, the basic manipulation tactics are often the same ones humans have always used.
Which brings us back to us, the humans consuming the information.
Exactly. Probably the most valuable, highest potential strategy is equipping you with information literacy, critical thinking skills.
So teaching people how to spot manipulation, check sources, understand bias, whether the source is human or AI.
Precisely. If you have those foundational skills, you're much more resilient to disinformation, no matter how slickly it's packaged.
That sounds like a big lift. Needs schools, governments, platforms all involved.
It's a collective effort, for sure. Researchers defining the skills, educators teaching them, governments promoting media literacy policies, platforms designing features that help users understand context and sourcing.
And this isn't just about AI text, is it? It's deepfake audio, video, everything.
Everything. The core skills, critical thinking, source evaluation, understanding persuasive techniques apply across the board. It's fundamental digital citizenship, really.
Okay, so wrapping up, we see these incredible parallels, the printing press, the internet, AI. They all revolutionize information, empower people, drive society forward.
But they always come with this dual nature, don't they? Challenges alongside the benefits.
Just like the printing press challenged the authority of its time, AI is challenging our basic ideas about truth and trust today.
And that requires constant vigilance. We need to figure out how to harness the good, the amplified understanding, the new discoveries while actively fighting the bad, like the flood of mis and disinformation.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If the printing press, as Luther and others saw it, kind of opened humanity's eyes to its former blindness, what new truths, or maybe what new kinds of blindness, is AI revealing about us, about our society right now?
That's a deep one.
And maybe more importantly, what role will your critical thinking, your information literacy, play in shaping whatever comes next in this information landscape?